From Mustafa Teacher's Diary. January 10th, 1982. Today was a regular day. I taught the alphabet and slanted writing to my students. Tomorrow, I will plan an activity. The house I stay in gets cold at night, and I feel the cold due to the mud, but what can we do? The passion for duty outweighs. That's all I will write for today. January 20th, 1982. Today we roamed the fields with my students. Everything was beautiful. However, since there is no phone in the village, I couldn't call my parents for a long time. I miss them. Dear mother, dear father, I love them. Also, today an elderly aunt came to my house, brought food. I was very happy. I saw her for the first time in the village, or maybe I thought so. I hope it is. That's enough for today. January 23rd, 1982. Today I am at home. I called home in the city and they are doing fine. But now, I have trouble sleeping at night. I don't know if it's the solitude, but it feels like someone is shouting Mustafa while I'm sleeping. It's not fear, but restlessness. I'm managing because there's no other place to stay in the village. If the same things happen today, I'll go to the Mutter, village headman. January 24th, 1982. Last night, I was woken up by a violent knocking on the door. I opened the door, but there was no one. Since the electricity was out, I couldn't turn on the lights. At that moment, I felt a hand behind me, but there was no one. I am on the verge of losing my mind. I told the Mutter, but he just laughed it off, saying I've read too much and gone crazy. Making jokes about it. I see shadows inside the house. I see them when I go to the kitchen, and the same when I go to bed. The toilet is outside the house, and I'm even scared to go outside to use it. When I entered the toilet door knocked, and the light went out. I am very uneasy, not at ease. January 28th, 1982. Yesterday that old aunt came again. I made soup for you, she said. I was hungry and started to eat the soup eagerly. When I sat at the table and opened the soup, there were bones with a horrible smell of blood. It smelled like a dead dog. I immediately threw it outside. The smell is still in the house. I don't know who to tell my troubles to anymore. I will go to the city and see a doctor if I can find a car. January 30th, 1982. Last night I was at the cafe to relieve stress. Everyone was talking about a woman roaming the village, stealing chickens, throwing stones at windows, causing unrest. I stayed out late, going back home. It was difficult to see without lights. I was going by the moonlight. I saw a pack of dogs in front of me, fighting. Even though I said shoo, they didn't run away. I came home quickly with fast steps. However, when I entered the house, the door was open. There were 4 to 5 people wearing black inside. I shouted, used harsh words. They didn't respond. They all stood up at the same time, left the house. Then, I passed out. I woke up, and I am writing these lines now. Tomorrow, I will go to see the teacher. February 3rd, 1982. I couldn't write, but the teacher couldn't help either. The more I read prayers, the worse it gets. I shiver at night because the windows of my house are broken. A while ago, the door knocked again, but no one is there. Either I'm going crazy, or there really is something. Even my students make fun of me. I don't want to live anymore. I'm holding myself back. That night, the village head, curious about Mustafa Teacher's story, went to check on him. As he approached the house, he saw a group of figures with torches, capturing Mustafa Teacher and leading him into the forest. The headman froze in fear. He quickly ran home and called the police. The police searched the forest for weeks, but found neither a trace nor evidence belonging to Mustafa Teacher. Since then, the villagers never saw Mustafa Teacher again. His traces vanished, leaving only his old diaries behind. The shadow of horrifying events and strange creatures loomed over the village. No one dares to approach that village anymore, and the village's name is now remembered with oblivion. Mustafa Teacher and the creatures that dragged him into the forest became a legend. Nobody would ever know the full truth.